Warning, the following is intended for immature adult audiences. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, boy.
What's up, Beer League hockey fans and fellow dumpers? Welcome to another unedited, unfiltered worldwide Dump and Skate podcast, the number one hockey podcast in the Bluffton, Hilton Head area, Pooler, Georgia area, and Aurora, Oswego, and Naperville, Illinois, and the countries of Israel, Canada, and Colombia. Shout out to Corey, my favorite droney homie with the massive baloney pony compared to my macaroni. We are the Hockey Dynamic Dumpers. It's the last one I'm doing with the Corey. Sorry. I'm the podcast scheduler, social media content creator.
Really good.
Social media content creator, official video and audio editor, the broken, old, and decrepit bender, the ball buster, the one that benders feel comfortable enough to start running their mouths before, after, and during the game when I don't even know you existed. I'm the admin's bitch and the sounding board, Jeremy. If you're strangers that go into a public bathroom as a group, I will use my stopwatch and let you know your time, and then say something funny that made Holland spit out his beer, Abdoo. With me, as always, the giggling man in the background, the man that makes this podcast possible, the only producer that doesn't do any editing because he doesn't have all the time in the world to do Abdoo's blind squirrel moments, the talent of the podcast, but not on the ice. The guy I have to nag to upload the podcast for you, the listeners. The guy that won't hesitate to help out family or friends in need. The friend and brother that'll always have your back on and off the ice. The very hard-working family man, Jeremy. I'm out of underwear and long johns, so now I'm wearing my wife's underwear, Holland.
I never wore.
No, you didn't, but I had to add
that. That's a complete fallacy.
The last
My
half
wife's
was
a lot smaller than me. I don't think that would work.
The last half was, but yeah, I just thought that was funny.
The first
next
two-thirds
intro-
of that, the first 2/3 of that were accurate. The last third, if I could fit in them, I might have tried that, but I don't think I fit in those at all.
The next intro I have for myself is a good one. A big shout out to my fondue boo in the next intro. So unless we have a guest on, then I will keep it clean. So, all right, Holland, take her away.
Oh, my star. Sorry, my dogs are now talking in the background every single time. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all shapes, sizes, and flavors? Welcome in to your favorite podcast, your favorite beer league podcast, the Dump and Skate podcast. We're super happy that you guys are here with us. As Abdoo said, I did run out of underwear earlier last week, I think. And so I ended up in long johns at one point because I was out of underwear. I think I had to go buy the laundry. I don't know. It just laundry gets kind of tough around here when you got, 17 kids and yeah.
Or when you have IBS. Or when you have
That's
IBS and
true.
you're just skinny
That
shorts.
too.
Not mentioning any names, but shout out to the guy that does my jerseys.
Oh man. Guys, before we go any farther, we are the dynamic moronic duo. And if you like what you're listening to, if you've laughed to this point, my dogs are just like talking in the weirdest language to my left right now. I don't know what they're doing. If you guys are enjoying or have enjoyed what you hear, if you've laughed, if it's made you think, if it's made you go, what the heck? Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Follow us on all the different social media platforms. Abdoo had a huge panic for like a whole 24 hours because he lost his favorite social media outlet, TikTok. But don't worry, it's back, and so he's good to go now. So he's really, really happy that he can continue to participate in the TikToking. So
That's about as much BS as you wearing your wife's underwear. I'm more upset about the editing app, but whatever.
So, and also really quick, Abdoo mentioned jerseys. We want to send you guys to support those that support us. And if you need anything for hockey equipment wise, jerseys, skates, sticks, I'm going to order a couple sticks probably here this week for my son. We're realizing he's growing like a weed, so he's outgrowing his sticks. We're going to be hitting up the boys and girls at B&R Sports, get a couple sticks shipped down to us for him. So that'll be nice. It'll be his first pair of sticks that are the same stick. He's been playing for a little over a year. We've just kind of been buying hodgepodge stuff here and there. So this will be like, he'll be like a big boy now, like have a pair of sticks that match. So if he breaks one, the backup is good. And so, but yeah, go visit our good friends at B&R Sports. It's brsport.com. Hit them up. They'll hook you up. If you happen to call and talk to him, ask for Shane, tell him that Holland and Abdoo said, hey, don't really do that. Just Shane's got important things.
No, tell him Abdoo said hi, though. Tell him Abdoo
just tell him Abdoo said hi. He'll be like, Holland who?
Yeah, he'll be like,
so
Hollington?
it's okay. Hollingsworth? Hollingsworth. So, well, our title is, I think, playoffs already. Yeah, playoffs already. So we're already in full swing in playoffs. But it's brought up some really good conversations with several captains here lately about players and the level of play they're at. And we've talked a little bit about this before, about what the A League looks like, what the B League looks like, what the C League looks like down here. And when we had this conversation, it was really A and C, and we were just trying to the word has completely left me. Trying to compare what we had here to what you had in Chicago. We said our A League was at the time was, because it was like an A B league. It was kind of like a mix of your upper level, what is your upper level, C2?
Our upper level would be a B league, but at all seasons there isn't a B league. So
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Your
yeah,
highest
so
level at all seasons.
It's a C1 and then C2 and then C, but there isn't a B league. C would be like the lowest level, just like it is here. C1 is higher, and then C2 is what Sodomy is in. So
okay, so C1 is, so our A B league looked like the C1 mixed with like Johnny's Ice House. So it was like a combo of those.
Yeah, your A League is exactly like the higher level of all seasons, which would be the C1. C2 is exactly like what the B League is here. And then you guys are making it equivalent to what is it exactly like all seasons. And most rinks that I've played at now, some have like a C1, a C2, C3, or a B, like Johnny's Ice House is a B. Then they have like a sub, like a B1 and a B2 that builds off of that, just because there's so much hockey up there too, and different levels of playing. I think when you go to Johnny's and you hear a C League, no one's going to play in a C League at Johnny's Ice House, for sure. Just because of that label being a C League.
Fair enough.
Because it's like I said, it's Johnny's Ice House would be like a Rossi Holland or Hollington league. Like you guys could hang, is what I'm saying. I played there once. I could not hang. So that's all. That's what I'm saying.
So, but that brings up a good point that we want to talk about a little bit, and that is some self-awareness as hockey players. So, we've talked about it a little bit here, and you and I have said that, like, hey, there's a like legit, like, there is a legit blind spot that a fair amount of guys have when it comes to what league they belong in, right?
Yes.
And so you said that's not really a thing in Chicago. Now you've got established leagues, so you, like, any newcomers that come into the league are probably going to be picked to put on a team, and they're going to be, you know, picked intentionally to go to a division where they fit, kind of deal. And if it's a ringer that's brought in, then it's going to be really obvious, and you know, things will be noted about that sort of thing. So, but one of the things we have here is we've got guys that are kind of in spots that they probably don't belong. So our A League is getting faster and better. We had multiple former Division I player, NCAA Division I players join our league this year, and it elevated the play. It sped the play up. We have a handful of other guys that had played at the collegiate level or the semi-pro level that had kind of jumped into the league this year. And so as we were organizing the league, one of the things I asked all the captains was, hey, look, do you want to thin your roster in order to kind of match pace with what's coming in? And Pete's team couldn't because they were taking guys from Georgia Southern, and that was kind of by design. And so Pete was trying to include those guys to help them get some more time on the ice together. So Pete's team was always going to look a step slower. But the other three teams, mine was one of them. I thinned my roster. I eliminated guys that I did not think need to be there.
Right.
And so I made sure that, hey, those guys need to get drafted down at a different level. So much so that one of them fell all the way to the C League, which is 100% where he belongs. He did not need to be in the A League. It was almost comical watching him skate there for 2 full seasons last year. But the other two teams, at least one guy on both of those teams, and one of those teams probably has 3 guys that I could point at, that the A League is a faster pace than what some of these guys are. Mm-hmm. And so it's a little confusing to me. It's like there are times where I feel like I probably should not be playing in A anymore. I'm 40 years old. My legs do not move as fast as they once did. My brain definitely doesn't move quite as fast as it once did. And so I at times feel like, maybe I should just stop and go down. But there are guys that are legit like, no, I'm good. I'll go another season. Maybe next year I'll think about moving somewhere else. And it's to the point now, after a full season of this, that the captains have now realized, like, this was a mistake. Mm-hmm. And so I've had at least one captain reach out and be like, yeah, I probably need to move this guy and this guy and this guy down. And I was like, yeah, I kind of tried to tell you that at the beginning of the season.
What's the average age in your in the A League, do you think?
On my roster right now, I would say there are 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about 5 of us that are 40 or over. So 40 to 45, I think, is around the oldest guy on my roster. And then I've got probably another 4 to 5 guys that are in their late 20s, early 30s, and the rest of them fall somewhere in their 30s.
Does everybody
30 to 35, if I had to guess?
Does everybody in their 40s feel like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be in the A League and move down, or do they feel like,
no,
hey, I can hang?
I don't. No, two of the guys that are in their 40s played either Division 1 or Division 3 NCAA hockey several years ago, and have played at a pretty high level, and so they're good. They're good players,
Okay.
and so they're hanging just fine. Now again, the speed wise, they're not chasing guys down or anything, but they're smart enough guys and they're good enough hockey players that. One of the other guys is probably in a similar boat to me. He's in a little better shape than I am, so he's a little faster. But he and I both are probably not far from, like, hey, this might not be. One of my guys that's in his 40s offered to move down this year.
Okay.
I think he's the same age as me. He offered, but he's good. He's kind of like, I don't know. He's kind of like me. I would offer my guys, like, I'll drop down, but several of my guys would probably come to me and say, no, don't drop down. You fit in this league just fine. And I said the same thing to him. I said, no, you don't need to go anywhere. I think you fit here fine.
If that guy dropped back down to the B League, is he good enough where he would be at a cap? Do you think a goal cap?
Probably, but he would probably play defense, so he would be a nightmare to skate against. You've skated against him. His my Canadian guy.
Oh yeah, okay.
Picked up, yeah.
So, for
He's
people
not a
that
goal scorer. He's a defenseman.
for people that aren't from Chicago or the Savannah area, if you're a good enough player in an A League playing down, you're allowed 1 goal if you play in the B League, and then in all seasons, depending on which C1 or C2, you're either allowed 1 goal or 2 goals. So I don't think they do that at every rink, but
No, the divisional thing. I know the Jacksonville rink. I've read through some of their rules, and they do not allow players to play across divisions. Mm-hmm. They just don't want the headache and all. And so I think it's actually kind of fun.
I like it.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a bad thing.
I just wish everyone would abide by that rule, you know. I'm serious. I'm
Hey, look,
serious.
if it's an empty net, it's hard to just not shoot it.
I understand, but again, that's where the referees or the scorekeeper have to have that mind. We
Well,
talked
and
about that too.
to be
and
fair,
that's
to be fair,
nobody's
this
fault.
is the to be fair, this is the very first year
Yes.
that we've done this very first season. So there's a lot of learning curve and things like that. And I'm not
Yeah.
going to get upset at referees or scorekeepers for not understanding that aspect of the rule. So, but no, I think for the most part, I mean, my team is kind of an exception to the rule right now. The players that I filtered off and the players that replaced them was a massive net positive. I picked up some very, very talented guys. So I have guys on my roster all across every line that have really, really good hands. And it was not an intentional thing. It's just kind of how everything shook out. Because some of these guys we had not really seen skate at all. And so it was some blind drafting and blind picking of guys. And one of the guys that landed on another team probably needs to drop down to B League. And again, but that was a blind draft thing. And he's he's a bit of a detriment to their roster. So, but we didn't know that because we didn't get to see him eve out. I had a guy like that too on my roster that I came in blind. We didn't know what he was, and he's phenomenal. He's really, really good. So he is what his elite prospects background said he was. So that's really good. So, but A-League is starting to filter itself out, and all that will kind of start to look, like it's supposed to. And for the most part, I don't think anybody that's bumped down into the B-League or been told, like, hey, you're not in the A-League this year, I don't think those guys really threw a fit. Now, where we start to run into some lack of self-awareness, I think, is when we get into the B and C leagues. I don't think there's a lot of B guys that necessarily think they are A guys. I think what really gets is there are probably guys in the B league that think they are B league players, and the reality is they would be a bottom level B league player. And so we have a good friend of ours. I don't know how far I want to go into this. But we have a guy that I think he qualifies as a B-League player. He has the ability and skill to do it. But his captain claims that he doesn't know his position very well or something. I'll be perfectly honest. They've told me a couple times. But the biggest issue is that this particular skater can skate like a shift and then goes to the bench and throws up. Just throwing up and then misses like two or three shifts and then can come back out. And so the complaint I've gotten from this captain has been like, hey, this player doesn't fit. And to be fair, I've gotten a similar complaint about a singular player in A-League, also from a good friend of ours, who is a captain of a team. Not a, hey, this guy's throwing up, but like, hey, this guy's lost. This guy does not know what he's doing. He's only been in a handful of games. One game, he was apparently like stunk like alcohol. So apparently the guy had been partaking before he even got on the ice and was just a complete liability. And so those are the ones where it's like, man, what do you do with this? And so the question was actually posed to me by both captains. And I've had three different captains ask me basically, hey, can you tell this guy that we don't think belongs in this league? Can you tell him he doesn't belong in this league so that he can move down to a lower level? And I've said, absolutely not. That's not really the league director's job to start going and telling guys, hey, I'm sorry you suck. I think you need to go find somewhere else to play. I said, I think the captains need to have that conversation first. So at least one captain has had that conversation. I had to coach them through how to do that. Hey, I think you probably belong in C League. They did it. And the guy was like, oh, that's phenomenal. I'm 62 years old. I've never played hockey before.
Yeah.
C League sounds like the place for me. So I have encouraged the other two captains. You need to have a conversation with your guy that habitually throws up on your bench. Hey, maybe if you drop to a lower league where you didn't have to skate quite as hard, you would throw up less and you would enjoy the game more. I don't know if that conversation's been had yet.
It may be in the admin's bitch. I'll talk to him. I'll do it.
We'll send everything to Abdoo. Hey, Abdoo, we need to tell these people that they're really
Give
bad.
me the list. Give me the list. I'll do it.
Hey, how would you introduce yourself on the phone if you called them?
All right. They're like,
hey, John. Hello.
Yeah, can I talk to Haywood Jablomi, please?
Hey, this is Haywood.
Haywood, this is Jeremy Abdoo. I don't know if you know me.
I don't. Who are you?
All right. Well, what you want to do is subscribe and like to the Dump and Skate podcast. We're on all platforms. And,
Is this like a teleconference call? Why are you? Why are you calling and telling me about a podcast? Who is this again?
Basically, I'm your daddy, and I'm just telling you right now that I'm calling on behalf of the league. You are not cut to play in the league that you're in. I'm letting you know that you are going down a level, not by anyone's choice, just because it's your choice, because you suck and you don't belong in the league. So I'm going to move you down one.
I just got a couple questions here. First off, my dad died like 3 years ago, so it's kind of offensive to say that, like, hey, you're my daddy. Second off, which league are you calling about? I play co-ed badminton. I do an underwater bowling class that has league play, and then I also play ice hockey, and then I have a footsie league that I play in. So which league am I supposedly being demoted in? Because I'm very good at all of those.
All of them.
All
You're
of
moving down in all of them.
Oh.
So first of all, a footsie league.
Devastating phone call.
Me being your new daddy, you do not ever admit that you're in a footsie league. And I don't know if that's what it's actually called, but that is one of the reasons why you're moving down in hockey.
First rule of footsie league is you don't talk about footsie league.
Right. Yes.
Got it.
The bowling league, I'll tell you
Underwater bowling.
That's fine. So you like to put your fingers in holes. I got a good team that you can play on for hockey.
I have a team I play on. I love them. My captain, she's so nice.
Well, I'll tell you what. We are going to move you down to a different team, a level that you are more suited for. And
hey, there's only one level lower in that. It's the C league. I'm not a C league player.
You are.
I'm a B league player.
You're either going to move down to C. You're either going to move down to
hockey
C
for 12 years, and every league I've ever played in, I've been one of the best players on the ice. I don't know why. I feel like I'm probably one of the better ones out there.
Oh my gosh! All right, I'll tell you what. We'll just give you a refund. You don't even belong playing hockey if you think you're the best one playing 12 years and you're only doing 2 shifts a game. All right,
I've been getting 3 shifts a game, 1 per period. Don't try to minimize my impact on this roster.
Warm-ups don't count, but however, we can give you your money back. But if you want to make money on the side, there's a team that has a lot of videos, and if you would like to make some money, since you like to put your fingers in holes, I got a way you can make some good money. Send me your email and let me see your social media, and then we'll grow from there. And I'm telling you, you can make some money. You can make some money, and yeah, I got you.
Okay, Mr. Adobo, I'm gonna.
I never said what my name is. I never said what my name is.
I
just said I'm your dad.
I've got to get back to work. I'll have to. I don't know what to do with this call. I've got to go. Click.
Yeah, you're off the team. Goodbye.
So this is why this is a great example of why the admins would never use you to make a phone call. Although it would be comical to listen back to later.
Honestly, all right, forget that little segment right there. I would just say, hey, look, can I just talk to so and so?
Hey, this is so and so.
I feel like all the listeners are just like, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. Are they done talking? Rossi's just like, can we just get to the part where the bathroom part where you were bringing out for our date night? I'll just say, hey, look, Mr. So-and-so, we are making some changes in the league. I feel as though a little bit moving you down to the league would be a better fit for you. Let's just see how this season works. And if you feel like you're not a good fit for this league, I will talk to your captain and move you back up and see if that works. But right now, let's move you back down. I think this is going to work out better for you. And there's some other teams that need are looking for players that I think you could really benefit and help out. Click.
I tried that last year with one of my guys. I said, hey, I think would you mind bumping down to C League? I think you would fit better there. I said, I think we have an expansion team would be a big help. And he said, hey, I think I'm going to ride it out in A League. And then maybe next year I'll go to the new B League. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
So it was a whole nother season of trying to cover for a guy.
So where's
he's in B League now. He was drafted actually fairly high.
Okay.
We've played him, I think, one time.
Okay.
I think he missed another. I'm not even 100% sure which roster he's on. I think he's on the Spoonbills, so we might see him.
Okay. But for the people down here, like you said, I feel like people just think they're better than what they are. They need to be humbled a little bit. Not so much in the A League, for sure, not the A League, because people in the A League, for the most part, I feel like deserve to be in the A League, or whether they belong in the A League.
There's a couple of guys. There's
always going to be somebody.
One specific roster has about 3 guys that at least one of them needs to bump to like the 40 and over league because that's his age and he would fit there because our 40 and over league is kind of like a B level type league, or it's headed in that direction. And then the other guys probably need to drop into a B league because that's really more realistically where they fit. So, but the funniest thing that I've experienced has probably been the C League guys that think they belong in the B League.
That's what I was getting at.
Those are the really comical ones. So we did have a guy that came in. His first season playing with us was last year, the second season. So he's only played 1 season with us. He played in our C League at the time. And then upon being told by, his captain at the time, hey, next year, different structure. There's going to be a B League, there's going to be a draft and some of the teams may hold together. His particular team, several teams did not stay together. We had 8 C League teams last year. This year we only have 6 B League teams. So 2 of our C League teams from last year disbanded. And we were left with, actually, I think it was more than that. But at any rate, we now have 6 teams. So one of those is a pseudo expansion team. That's where this player, probably would have fallen. But I did not think that he was good enough to automatically place him on that team. And the captain of said team did not think that he was good enough to draft onto that roster. Therefore, he fell into the C League. So upon finding out that he was drafted to a C League roster and would be playing in C League, he promptly called one of the directors and said, hey, look, I don't think I belong here. I know how to play hockey. I do not belong in a C League. I belong in B. The director said, hey, look, the B League drafted, and so we're not going to force the captain to take a player that they didn't want to draft. That's not fair. And he said, basically, why don't you give C League a try, just, see how it goes kind of thing. And so I think maybe the caveat was given of like, hey, look, if you're good and you're just, dummying people, obviously as directors, we'll have an eye on that. And we'll make a change. We'll pull guys up and move people around. So, said player has not been dummying people. In fact, said player, I don't even know if he has a single point playing in C League. And so I'd be interested to know at the halfway point if he reaches back out. I was like, I really need to be in B League, because it'd probably be one of those things where we would say like, I don't think so. I feel like you are exactly where you belong, where you belong.
What about the person that didn't get drafted in B League and just threw a fit and went all over social media? I think that was way out of hand. But I'm going to tell you something. Last year, the first year, I didn't know anything about the leagues because at the time, there was only like an A League and a C League, right? Yeah. Yep. And I was going by with what I thought was basic rink league rules. Like C was the very, very bottom. Like C League is what it is today, what you guys have down here, like a bevy league. And I'm like, man, how did I get put in this league? I was a little butthurt, but again, it was the first season and everything like that. And I can see why I wasn't. And I was like, okay, it makes sense after playing in a few games. But when you first look at it, you're like, what, C League? That's like, there's only 2 leagues here, but I understand. And so, and it worked out. It worked out for the best all around. So, but some people, like I said, need to be humbled, and they think they're a lot better than what they are. And I will tell everybody, just like just like Thursday, I never claim to be good. I can rip a shot, I can hit the post, and I can hit the goalie in the chest. Just ask Pete. I can hit the goalie in the glove.
I can hit my own players in the arm. Just ask Brannick.
Yeah, exactly. And I can do a good celly. Shout out to my fondue boo. That was my favorite celly of all time. It was even better than the tea bag. It was better than the tea bag. I might even use this one for a screenshot and record it and show everybody what I did for a celly.
Gosh.
Thank you, fondue boo, for partaking in that. But there are people, like I said, that just got so mad that they didn't. Their head is just. How did we describe this before? They have a different perception of where they belong.
Some of what's happened too is because, and this is a part of the league growing, because we had a C League and there were people all together. We told the C League teams you're only allowed to retain 5 players going into this new season where we're making B leagues. Okay,
Correct. Yep.
B league teams, and then it was on those captains to draft the best available players
100%.
to get up to a roster size of 12, and at that point we would cap it. Captains had to make business decisions of drafting the best players. Now they had 5. Every team started with 7 players. They had 5 players and then 2 players that were either assigned to them or were asked to play with them that were either an A quality player or something very, very similar that was agreed upon that specific team could take that player. Okay. And so the draft only was, I think, 5 rounds. It was only 5 rounds to draft from. So each team only picked 5 players. Now, the first 2 rounds, I believe every team picked brand new players that had just been here this season. I don't think any team picked as their first 2 picks existing players that they had before on their roster.
Repeat, correct.
Almost every single team picked 2 brand new players, either brand new to the league or were in a different division or something last year, weren't in this division. Our 2 picks were 2 brand new players. One was here but was not playing in the C League. The other one was brand new. And so, and everybody did that. I think there was a couple of pairs of brothers that got picked in a similar fashion. And so, anyways, that's kind of how that shook out, right? And so that really meant that each team was only picking 3 players from potential previous teams. Well, you can do the quick math and realize if you had a team with 13 players on it last year and you retained 5 of them and had 4 new players that were not on your team, you've only got 3 spots for the remaining like 7, 8 guys that were on your roster last year. There are going to be people that were on your roster that are not back on your roster.
Yeah.
That's just how that's going to work. The only team that really kind of went after almost exclusively their own guys were the Ice Hogs. The Ice Hogs retained all 5 guys. They grabbed 2 guys that were A-level players. They grabbed a pair of brothers, and then everyone else they drafted straight off of, hey, these were all guys that were on our team before.
Silver Knights have pretty much the same.
For the most part, yeah. I think they drafted the other brother pair, and then they pretty well drafted their guys back as well.
Down here, this is the first time I've ever been part of a league draft. I actually like it. It actually, and this is the difference, one of the main differences between where I play back in Chicago versus here. People here are a lot closer. Yeah, a lot more tight-knit because of that, or maybe because it's just such a smaller community here. It's
pretty small community still, too. I think that plays a part in it for sure.
But then back home, instead of doing a draft, you just bring your own team, and you pay X amount of dollars for a 12-game season plus playoffs. But you can bring anybody you want. You don't have to do a draft. Some people end up leaving because work or whatever, so it's kind of equivalent like, hey, if someone's getting deployed, they leave the team.
Right.
Shelly will just say, hey, I got a guy looking for a team. Or I'll say, excuse me, hey, I'm looking for we need somebody just to keep costs down. Can anyone look for somebody?
Yeah.
And then sometimes we get someone that is just really bad, but those bad players are actually good for the team because they pay right away. They pay right away. So
you could pay and then not show up to a bunch of the games. That'd be awesome.
Kind of like people that have a gym membership. They just pay for a gym membership and then never show up.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so there have been some guys that played on a team that have been either bumped down to C or They basically said, I can't play on the night that the C is going to be on, and I'm not going to do that, so I'm only going to play a different league. So there were some hurt feelings. I did hear the same thing you heard, that at least one player was upset enough that they went to their social medias as a full-grown adult and used their social media to air their grievances, although they did it in a very, like, I don't know, non-clear way. I don't know exactly how you'd say that, but anyways, it was
Subliminal way.
yeah, subliminally took shots at people, which again, I don't know. I hate that for that captain, because that stinks. Like, they're doing their job to build a good team, and they did build a good team. I think they have a very
Really
good team.
Yeah.
And so, but they're catching heat for building a good team. That's stupid. So, but the other side of this is there were guys that got bumped into C League that are now playing in C League, and we tried to kind of cluster groups of those guys together. So if there were a group of guys that had all played on one team last year, but they did not get drafted to that team this year, we tried to push them all together into a pile, let them play on a C League team together, and we've been pretty successful at that. I don't think we really split too many guys up, at least not that we could, try to avoid. And so I was walking through locker rooms in the C League before anything started this year, and I made the comment. I was like, "Hey, this is," guys were commenting on how they were having a good time and how C League was fun, and they all felt that it was an even playing field now, whereas maybe before they didn't feel quite as much. And I said, "Yeah, no, C League is very much for our beginner or novice skaters." Now, I don't really know how how someone else may define the word novice, but a novice skater is someone that I would consider that is not an expert skater. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, that comment ruffled some feathers. I think that they believe that I meant, I think they just heard beginner. Mm-hmm. And so they were not particularly thrilled about being called a novice skater. And I think that, to me, that was another one that's like, I think there are people that just have some blinders on about, like, well, I can skate, and I can skate forward, and I can stop, and I can skate backwards. Therefore, I are an expert skater.
Yes.
And the reality is, if you put that skater that thinks they're an expert skater on the ice with literally any player in our A League, any player, they will look like they just bought their skates that day, and
they'll look like me.
Sharpened.
They'll look like me.
You don't look like a novice skater. You look like a guy who has a hard time skating because of injuries. Those are two.
You would never know that I have
things.
Injuries if you saw me skating.
Very, very different.
First time.
Two very different things. Yeah, no, those are two very, very different things. When you come watch a C League game,
yeah,
you might be able to pick out one or two guys where you're like, all right, that guy can skate pretty well, or that guy can skate pretty well. For the most part, most of those guys, and here's the crazy part. One of the guys that plays in C League is a referee. He's a very good referee. I like him a lot as a referee. And he does a great job. And in order to be a ref, there's another player that plays in C League that also referees. I don't think he is very new to it. He is still learning. So I'm going to be very careful saying he doesn't do a good job. I think he's just very green. Part of his problem in refereeing is he is still learning to skate. He is still learning to skate. And so if you're having to think about skating and like watch a game, it's going to be tough. Like your job just got harder. The other guy that plays in C League, he doesn't have that problem. He can skate well, but when you put a stick in his hands, it's a different ball of wax. It's not that he's bad, but he's not. He could probably play in B League, and he would be a helpful addition to someone's team, but he would not be a massive difference maker. He's one of the few guys that I feel like, yeah, we could probably bump him into B League and he'd be okay. So, but he's
feel like
he ain't running the C League. He's not scoring 3, 4, 5 goals a game. So
that's why I think C League is perfect for him. But you could move him up to B League as a sub for sure.
Yes.
If you were short players and
correct.
you already have 2 A League players, you can just say, hey, look, we need you here for a second.
And there have been some C League guys that have been called up. And I think that's just because they knew teams and all, and they're C League players. They're not hitting the ice and making massive contributions.
They're not changing, right? Yeah.
So, but it's been, so I just think it's comical that a little bit that, I don't know, lack of awareness, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah,
weird.
and that there's a lot of that down here from what I've noticed compared to other places that I've seen. A lot of people just think they are better than what they are. You
Yep,
know,
I agree.
so and then you as a admin have to tell them, look, are you watching the same thing that I am? Because
It's definitely probably one of my less favorite things to do, because I'm, for the most part, a pretty well thought out and well spoken person. I try to be very careful the way I say things. I take being a admin relatively serious, and don't want to do anything that brings a bad light on the program,
right,
the leagues, or anything like that. I want everything to function and be successful. And so I try to be super careful in having conversations with people about moving them from league to league or things like that, or where they actually fit. Because I don't want to upset people and have them, oh man, well, you don't belong in this league. Well, I don't want to play in this league anymore, which I don't know that people are going to necessarily do that, because it's the only game in town. If we were in an area where there were multiple rinks and options, they might, take their ball and go play somewhere else. But I try to be careful about it. And so, like you said earlier, I have spoken to guys and said, hey, look, I think you will fit better in this league. If you wouldn't mind, give it a try. Or, hey, I think you'd be a big help there. And we've talked about, there's a guy currently on one of our rosters that you and I play on that we think belongs and fits better in a lower level league. And we've talked a little bit about who should speak to them and how they should address that and how they should approach it. And it's very similar. Hey, it's not that we think you're really bad and don't belong here, even if that may be partially true. I mean, you
maybe
hear
we'll have
this?
your dogs. Maybe we'll have your dogs talk to that player.
God, gee, Manetti's, dude. So, but it's more of a, hey, we think you would be a benefit down at this lower level. I don't know. It's not my favorite. So,
Like you said, it's a
So-
captain's job to talk to the players, but in our situation,
especially
I don't know if,
especially if it's a
yeah.
league that's been drafted.
right, yeah. So, you and I are not the perfect fit for this conversation with our with the
For
with
other
one of the players.
for other
Yes.
reasons other than just that. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
If you yell at someone and tell them skate or else you belong in a different league,
No,
that usually disqualifies you from then coming later and saying, "Hey, I think you would be a better fit for another league." You
No,
may
but
be
you
met
did-
abruptly with a middle finger or
you
multiple
did
middle
say in the
fingers.
middle of this season, I did implement what you've been saying, Abdoo. Just stay there. Just stay there and watch the puck. Or don't skate. Just have a good time on the ice. I love the fact that you're turning into me and Rossi.
Did you feel like you
Slowly.
had a good time? Did you feel like you had a good time standing still on your shift on the ice? Because looked like you had fun. The other team had a blast with you standing out there.
Not me.
Idiots.
Not me just standing out there. I mean, I do stand out there, but
Yeah.
and you guys let me know. You guys let me know. I think it's funny. Sometimes, unless my fondue boo says we're breaking up. That one hurt when he said we're breaking up and we're not going to date. Hey, can we talk about date night really quick?
He was on a roll Thursday night. Yeah, we can go ahead and do you have your? Yeah, go ahead.
Date night update. I didn't mean for that to go off earlier. It was a complete accident. But we can just rewind it. Pete fed me about 4 or 5 good passes. And it wasn't just me. It was very contagious on the team. I hit the post on one, hit the goalie in the chest on one, hit the glove on one. Pete was playing defense. I kind of took the puck away from him and he got mad at me.
Kind of.
He
Kind
got
of.
so mad at me. And then Pepper had a bad game. He's on a 3-game drought right now. It turned into the point where we had to take the jinx out of our sticks, if you will. I'll just leave it at that. And then in the locker room, Pete goes, "We're breaking up, Abdoo." I'm going to Zunzi solo, and that one hurt. Like that was a public breakup. I would rather he texted me or just said it quietly. So yeah. So then we go to Zunzi's. Good time. Good time because Rob surprised us. Rob the gimp Rob. He
So that was actually hilarious. So Yumi and Christopher, good grief. Hang on, I'm sorry.
I'll continue. So Rob didn't think Rob wasn't going to show up. He's like, we didn't think Rob was going to show up. So next thing you know, we're sitting down, and then Rob pulls off from one corner, and then Pete shows up at the other, and I give Pete a hug because that was a makeup hug. I let my fondue boo down. I was a big disappointment, even though we got the win, and I scored with a very great Selly. We'll talk about that one. We'll talk about the Selly next time. And then after Pete had a few beers, I think he was like, all right, we're back together again. And I'll tell you what, I got the butterfly feeling. I felt like it was a brand new crush. Like, like when you break up with someone, you get back together and you break up. It was like a Ron and Sammy from Jersey Shore. We're back together again. And I'm so proud to call him my fondue boo again. Anyways, as we're finishing up our dinner, a whole gang of cosplay rollerbladers, if you will.
Cosplayers.
Yes. I mean, they had the light up.
That was the best description.
They had the light up wheels. One had a mask on with like piercings everywhere. Like metal detector would just go off on the face, the ear, the nose, the eyes.
It looked like I was walking to go fishing and I tripped, opened my tackle box, and threw the entire thing at a couple of these kids' faces.
Yes, they sat down by us, and then Rossi had to go to the bathroom, and the bathroom is around the corner of the building on the outside. So Pete goes, and then what happened? A group of two people just started walking to the bathroom, and it just looked a little sus, if you will. You got up, and I'm like, are you going to make sure Pete's okay? I'm like, yeah. You said, yeah. Just because Pete didn't have his rape whistle. We were just making sure that he was okay. And you go down, and then I go down, and there's a line for the bathroom. There's a line for the bathroom.
And Pete's in the line.
Pete
wasn't even in the bathroom. He was waiting still. He'd been around the corner for probably 4 or 5 minutes, and he had never made it into the bathroom.
And then there's two people ahead of him.
So, well, hang on. Come to find out, what comes out of the bathroom finally is 3 girls.
Right.
So a guy and a girl had walked up, and apparently there was a big group of them inside at Zunzi's, and we were sitting outside. And so we walk around, Pete's standing there, and he's like, well, the one bathroom's locked. He was like, in the other bathroom, somebody walked into. And so about that time, boink, here come 3 girls walking out of the bathroom, and they're cutting up with the couple that was standing right there. And I think Pete went right on into the bathroom.
Yep. And as the other two were going on, why don't you, someone said, like, use this bathroom. And can I say exactly what I said? Because you spit out your beer.
Go ahead.
I said, well, you can't use that bathroom because someone's getting fisted in that bathroom. Rossi goes into the bathroom. He laughed out loud. You spit out your beer, and you're like, you could have at least given me a warning. Like, I give anybody a warning about what I'm about to say. Like, that just was all natural. I'm like, I'm not going to be like, hey, Holland, I'm about to say something. Just hurry up and drink your beer.
Just put your hand over the beer.
Spit it all over the place. And then I hear Rossi laugh as he goes in. Then we weren't in line to go to the bathroom.
No, we were not. But we hung out. Rossi came back out, and one of the girls came back over from the trio that had come out of the bathroom, and there was a guy that had kind of come over and tried to go in with them, but then ended up not. The guy and the girl ended up going in the bathroom together after Pete came out. Of course, we were all, having a good time cutting up, and I don't know what we said, but we were basically we're well aware of what's about to happen here.
You guys walked back to the table. Yeah, and I'm still standing there. I whip out my stopwatch on my phone.
Yeah. Well,
and timed them. And as soon as they walk out, I showed them. Wow, 1 minute 40 seconds. That is good timing. That would have been like 2 rounds for me. And the girl's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Then another 2 couple walk in there too. And it's very obvious at this point. And then I was going to go back to the table with you guys. I'm like, no way. I should go back and time them. And I go, that was like 2 minutes. And I go, you did better than your friend. That was 2 minutes. That was 2 minutes. Good job. I'm surprised. Like, I bet you if it was anyone older, maybe our age, they would have just been like, who the F are you, bud? Like, what is your problem? But these kids were in their 20s. I mean, what are they going to do? Especially Cooch. I was like, Cooch, I need your help. Hold on. Let me get my crutches.
Let me get over there.
Let me hobble over there. Let me hobble over there. But looking back at it, that could have easily been an ass-kicking moment if they were really pissed off about it. But I thought it was fun. That just made our date night fun. Anytime we go out, it's always a good time.
I got to be honest with you.
Oh boy.
Of all the date night stories, this one's probably the worst. It was fun, but man, the other ones were actually funny. This one was,
I think you had to be there.
100%. So everybody that's listened to this point, I'm sorry for the last 6 to 8 minutes.
No, I'm not.
Gibberish. That
I know Corey's laughing. Huh? I know Corey's laughing.
At this point, Corey may be laughing, but he's probably the only one. Everyone else is tuned out. I'm sure at this point, your family is like, stop calling it a date night already, Jeremy. Just, can you knock it off already? So this is going to become the new most embarrassing.
I think Pete's laughing. Going back at it, Pete's probably laughing. And then hey, Pete, I'll tell you what. At this moment, if you're listening and you're laughing, just send me a text and say, don't listen to Holland. Like you said, Holland is the dad of the group and takes all the fun out of everything. So, my fondue boo, if you're laughing, and Cooch, if you're listening to this part 2 and you're laughing, send me a text. Let me know that Holland is just being the dad of the group, trying to take the fun out of everything. He's the reason why we can't have nice things. So
happens like that. So
I feel like I got at least 4 people to laugh. My sister Mandy might be like, that's typical my brother stuff. So
what a Fruit Loop. What a Fruit Loop. All right, guys. We've got some really good guests coming up. We didn't talk about it much. We didn't talk about it at all. But we do have some really good guests that are going to come up here. The Grace podcast was really well received. She had a blast. It's done really good numbers, and she expressed some interest to get back on. There were a lot of questions we kind of left off because we just didn't want to sit down for 2 or 3 hours, so we've got some other. We've got we'll tease this one. We have
go ahead.
a billet mom that we reached out to. We're really excited to get her story. She's been working with a specific team for a while. I forget the number, but she's billeted for a lot of kids. I think she's got a couple of them right now.
13 kids in 5 seasons. It was
a pretty big number. Yeah.
Or she's 3 seasons.
Taking in she's taking in 2 or 3 a season. That's what it sounds like. So, but really excited to have her on. She seems like she's been playing hockey for a while. I'm not going to tell you too much more about her story, but it can be fun to hear that side of hockey and some of the stories she's got. Sounds like she's got a lot. And so really excited to have her in, and got some others. Got a goalie that we want to get on, different goalie. So really excited about that. You guys stay tuned. We'll have more content coming out. This episode was labeled playoffs, and we said not a word about playoffs. So probably
you can just change the name. Yeah,
we'll change the name. So
Abdoo's Fondue's Boo.
Oh boy, not going to call it that. So, guys, stay tuned. We appreciate you listening. If you haven't, like, subscribe, follow, all that great stuff. We'll see you here next time. Thanks for listening, guys. We love you. Peace.
Bye.